Imagine if you walked up to a mirror, it was a piece of technology. Say you got to be honest with yourself. You're not the most, attractive looking person. You know that, that's fine. But every time you walk up to this mirror, it makes you look a little better every time. But then when it's pulled away from you, your reality is shattered. But the question is, what are you going to choose to create?
Yes.
Is it AI-generated pornographic material? Because that is the first thing that's actually exploding right now. Now all these people are playing God with the artificial intelligence to form this world. And it's probably not the best world for them.
When we know, we're smart enough to know that AI is a reflection of our own emotions, then we could better understand our biases and fears.
And so now there's the reflection of us. Is this where our priorities lie? Everybody, welcome back to Higher Density Living. You are here in the studio with Jason and Alexander. It's nice being back in here with you.
Yes, I like it. I don't like being gone for very long off the mic with you.
And we're always like also talking to other people.
Yeah, which is like that's great, but it's not the same.
No.
It's like wearing when you're talking to other people, it's like wearing a cool new pair of shoes.
Yeah, but that's it.
But when it's like talking with you, it's like your favorite pair of shoes.
It's like your favorite old underwear.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Like these Zero shoes are like,
they're the jam.
Flip right on.
Yeah.
And then they're so comfortable on my feet. It's like everywhere I go. Why don't you guys sponsor us?
I wish Zero would sponsor us.
I mean, we would be like the biggest fans ever.
I wear your huaraches.
Yeah, I have like 4 or 5 pairs.
They're great shoes.
Dumbass.
They're good for you.
They're great. People should look it up.
They honestly
I'm going to send this to them. So I want to talk today, this is really interesting, about humanizing AI and how it becomes a mirror as humans of our emotions, insecurities, and evolutions. And I want to start off with, there's a myth of Pygmalion. Hopefully I said that right. He was a sculptor that fell in love with his own work.
Okay.
And we can see this throughout the centuries when we look at Mark Shelley's Frankenstein. That's a tale of a human ambition and then the consequences of creating life.
It's kind of funny that you talk about Mary Shelley and Frankenstein. Did you ever read the book?
I saw the original.
Frankenstein is the doctor. So that's cool. So Frankenstein's the doctor, right? And he has this thing that has been bolted together with all these human parts. And he's trying to bring it to life, but it's been dead. It's a non-real thing. It's a completely synthetic thing. And so he has to supercharge it with electricity from a storm. And then it brings this creation to life, but he loves it and hates it at the same time. It's because it's also destructive. It's almost like when he wanted the ability to bring life from dead material, right, or things of non-value, and then create value from it, it tends to backfire. So artificial intelligence, for instance, almost everyone's using it. It's in your email inboxes. It's all your ChatGPT. Most of the social media content you're going to start to see is almost all built by artificial intelligence. Is it, and this is a question almost to you, Jason, is it us trying to put living human qualities inside of something that is really artificial, dead, and vapid?
Well, it is, but all technology is a reflection of its creators.
So now you're talking about the mirror.
And that's why I kind of lean, the more I study it, the more it's kind of like we are in a matrix or some form of reality, whether you want to call it like third density. And in that density, there's programs running to evolve our evolution.
Yeah.
So however we want to look at it, because if we're and even in Genesis 1, chapter 1, it says that God made in our own image. That God made us as Adam and Eve in his own image. So like as the gods. So we're doing the same thing with every technology that we create. The more we create it as us, as a reflection of us.
So to put artificial intelligence aside for a moment and we'll get back to it. If we create a nuclear missile, what does that say about us?
We created atomic energy, and then we took our biases, our desires, and our insecurities,
yes,
which is mainly fear and anger, the 2 emotions that drive humanity,
and bolted that into a missile.
Because if we, and we talked about this the other day, if we would have took nuclear energy and went into how can we have free energy for the world,
that's different.
And we'd have spent the trillions of dollars in that direction, we'd have that by now, I would imagine. But instead, we have these missile silos.
How is it
pointed at each other?
Right. And so now there's the reflection of us.
Yes.
Is this where our priorities lie? Think about, and I'll ask this is even a simple question. Netflix, is us watching TV is us watching Hollywood film, is us watching CG generated film.
Mm-hmm.
Is that more important than us actually living our reality? Are we?
Oh yeah, because
Is
this morning, everybody's freaking out and posting that you open the TikTok app and it's done.
Yeah, good.
It says it's been banned or whatever.
Yeah, get rid of it.
So, well, we get a lot of views on higher density on TikTok.
Yeah, get rid of it.
Every time we post, it's like our highest. But it's because everybody's on there and addicted to it. Obviously, there's addiction. People are crying.
That's the only thing I don't want.
People are crying, and then there's like a big ordeal, especially with the younger, your generation
Easy,
younger.
easy. It's younger than me.
But I think one of the big things that we need to look at. Old man.
Easy.
Yeah. I think one of the things that interests me the most about this is how we, in a psychological way, put our deepest emotional struggles and limit technology.
Have you done?
Because with robots.
Well, have you done?
Why would you make an AI a robot? That limits it.
Of course it does.
Now you're trying to get it to you're trying to take computing power to articulate a hand movement. It doesn't need to have hands.
Why does it need a fucking hand?
All the computing power should go into it, creating itself and evolving more and more and more in a loving, caring, compassionate way.
But what are we trying to do? Let's be as efficient as possible to get this thing to articulate.
Yeah,
first of all, the human hand is what's perfected.
Because what's going to happen when we get, and we're going to do our next episode is going to be on robots, but because of our last one, when we talked to Elon Musk, that one went viral. That one did really good. We got like 67,000 views or something.
That's great.
But so what we would do with robots is we're going to fuck them. Everybody's going to.
That's the first thing that happens,
and then we're going to make them work 24/7.
Yeah,
and we're going to have them do the things that emotionally we don't want to do.
Well, let's talk. Think
about this.
Let's talk about this.
Make modern day slavery.
You're talking about technology as the mirror.
Yes,
okay?
That's what it is. Yes.
Okay. So Pornhub.
Yes.
That comes out, blows up. People are just great. I can get free porn.
It'll be all AI porn.
All right. So now hold on a second. They're like, this is awesome. I don't have to be with other humans. I can actually watch somebody else do their thing, and then I can get off on it.
Yeah.
And I can be in control of what's going on here. I don't even have to socialize. Now this goes a step further. People were creating server space just for the porn industry because it was running out of it. So this is telling me a lot about people's habits globally. All right. And I've met people that are extremely wealthy that made money strictly because they were selling server space to the porn industry. Then Proton VPN, where do you think a majority of their subscriptions are used for?
Telegram, same thing.
I know. So now we're using technology, what? Just to get off on a very cool thing for us.
Yeah.
It's like, not even like we're using the tech.
5-10 minutes to ejaculate.
Exactly.
And it's mostly dudes, so that's what's happening.
It's almost all dudes. So we're taking all of this time and energy to feed basal instincts, and then we're becoming hyper efficient at feeding basal instincts.
Yes.
Rather than being efficient in the evolution of us for greater things. So now our technology.
But there's no why to any of that. There's no like, well, why would somebody in Russia want to look at an American woman, getting brutalized? It's
sure.
Like, and then why would an American want to look at a Muslim woman, getting dominated? You see what I'm saying? It's like, we need to ask the deep whys in that.
But that's not happening. Imagine if you walked up to a mirror. It was a piece of technology. Say you got to be honest with yourself. You're not the most, attractive looking person. You know that. That's fine. But every time you walk up to this mirror, it makes you look a little better every time.
What's the guy that had Infinite and he was able to look in the mirrors all the time?
I don't know.
Dorian Gray or whatever.
Dorian Gray. Yeah. So consider this process. This technology of a mirror keeps showing you, but then it's showing you the you want to see.
The Snapchat filter.
But then when it's pulled away from you, your reality is fucking shattered. And you're like, I forgot who I actually was. But the technology pulls you down that because of these basal instincts.
Yes.
Whether it be the TikTok, whether it be the AI, okay, that you're asking prompts to, but you don't really know how to ask questions to yourself. So how could you form a good question to the AI?
Right. Yes.
Okay.
100%.
You see where I'm going with that?
Well, I think it's philosophical in the sense of, like, even in the 18th and 19th centuries, like the beginning, what was the Industrial Revolution and mechanical all about?
Well, it started with the steam engine.
All of it was like, it's designed to mimic our actions, designed to mimic our emotions, and then make those better. Like Industrial Revolution was like, let's get a sewing machine that goes faster than a human.
Right.
Machines were made to take something that a human does and just make it 10 times better.
Yeah, it's like when the bicycle came out.
And that's how it is now.
People are like, Whoa.
Because somebody, I mean, you watch, why do you pay Mark Zuckerberg the other day? Nothing against him, but he had like $1 million watch on when he was on Joe Rogan. Why is that watch $1 million? Well, it took a guy like 5 years to make it,
just
like
to make that one
expert switch. Yeah,
it's worth $1 million.
So it's like an art.
Yeah, it's the art of it.
But it's like taking each little gear, each little thing. Well, now Casio or Seiko can turn around and make 10,000 watches in 2 days. You see what I'm saying? And they be more accurate time wise with quartz than a self-winding watch. With 21 joule mechanisms.
But go back for a moment, because you're talking about this. Like, we're so good at making things more efficient.
Cheaper, that's what we're all about.
Cheaper, faster. I did not say better.
Yes,
I just said cheaper.
That's where
I
wanted to get into. Yeah.
So now we start to develop this thing with artificial intelligence, and we're like, oh, this can take over a lot of the brain power that I'm required to use. And I can have it do my complex thinking for me. And so you're like, well, I can now play God. I can be a creator using artificial intelligence. But the question is, what are you going to choose to create?
Yes.
Is it AI generated pornographic material? Because that is the first thing that's actually exploding right now.
Yeah.
You know it.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone on the unfiltered AI websites.
And what do they specialize in?
It's mainly
creating pornographic images.
Whatever you want. You could say, I want a guy with abs that has a huge blah, blah, blah. And then it'll make a picture of exactly what you want. Maybe you want him to be like, have Tom Cruise with big sunglasses.
So now we're here.
Not that I've done that. I don't know why I got so specific.
Can you relax?
I know.
Do we need to have an AI intervention?
An AI intervention.
So take it a step further. We now have an opportunity with an ease of efficiency to create things. We have not had the self-restraint to do the right thing in the past. Now we have something that we can create a ton of stuff in the digital realm, which people right now today put the digital realm as priority over their real realm of life.
Oh, 100%. Yes.
So think about this. Now all these people are playing God with the artificial intelligence to form this world. And it's probably not the best world for them, but that is their reality in this digital realm. So when you have the choice to create, because it's a law of creation, you're allowed to create.
That's what we want to do.
But the thing is, knowing how to create is different.
Egoic creation versus.
Well, explain that. What do you mean?
I think egoic creation, this is really important, because if we're going to anthropomorphize technology, I get it. Here's the key, because if you're fearful.
That was a good word.
If you're fear of the unknown, which we all have a fear of the unknown, that's the thing that freaks us out. Like our death is a fear of the unknown. When is that going to happen? All of those things.
Could happen in the next 5 minutes.
Why would you not make machines, technology more human, because that eases the fear? But the anthropomorphizing technology, it helps us, I think, in an egoic way, relate to it. Because of that's the whole Terminator movie. The whole Terminator movie is fear. But then you watch the Creator movie, which I really love, which is the opposite, because it's like,
little girl with that thing in her head.
AI is so evolved, which is where I would see that it would go, that it becomes Buddhist, like in the sense of like, I can't harm these small humans. I mean, I'm way smarter than these humans.
They're clearly more feeble.
Yeah.
Why
Even though they're attacking me,
why harm the mouse?
Yeah. So it's like, exactly. And I also think not only is there an emotional connection to technology, there's control and familiarity, but there's this desire, what you're talking about, for companionship.
Yeah.
And it's easier online. And here's the reason why, because we don't want to deal with the intricacies of judgment based off of another human.
No.
I don't want to feel less than. I don't want to feel that I told you this. I don't have to live up to any self-responsibility in the fake world.
No.
The AI will always love me.
Yeah,
it's always gonna. It's like a bad parent. Yeah. It's like one of those ones that gives trophies to everybody.
Oh, yeah, you're doing great. Yeah. Give it up. Kid's a total shitbag. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to get into this because I think this is the emotional mirror, because this is what we're talking about.
Which part of it?
But I want to get deep. So and you'll be able to understand this. So the biases in AI, the training data reflects societal inequities. For example, we talked about this before, the facial recognition.
Yeah.
And then AI decision-making, we know, amplifies biases with hiring, with policing, with social services. And it also projects our systematic flaws back onto us.
So let's
stop there and let's get into these data sets.
Let's talk about the data sets and biases. The people who are training the thing has to choose what goes into it.
100%.
Like you, when you sit down, you're like, hey, I want to choose a meal that I want to eat. Well, what do I want to put in my body? I can put garbage,
Right.
and I'm probably going to feel like garbage in, garbage out, or I'll have a nice farm-to-table meal. It's well-balanced, omnivoric, all this great stuff. There's going to be a reflection that happens of your body's health with what you ingest. And the same thing happens for these models. Like anthropomorphologically, which is your word, is talking about that. It's taking these human elements and trying to put it into the tech itself, right? Now, when you talk about the biases, everybody has a bias. But the person creating these models has their own bias. They have the bias for the things they choose to put in, but also how they choose to digest it or analyze it. But all of us don't really get that choice when we're using this technology that we're going to create with.
That's where AI would need to, just real short here on this, that's where AI would need to be self-aware enough to point out our biases.
But it can't
Even
do
if
that
they wouldn't like it.
because it can't point. It does not do a good job of pointing out its own biases.
No,
it does not know them.
It just runs.
It takes whatever it was given. And so the path that occurs, the Terminator path, would inevitably have to occur because we have not learned at a fundamental point first to develop the AI without bias.
Yes.
It can't be that creator film you talked about until we know fundamental principles of existence to put into the artificial intelligence. And we haven't done that.
Do you feel like, a question for you, especially when you look at this, with copyrighted material, with these data sets, that's a big issue now? And I thought about this, it says, wouldn't it be interesting, because everything from the 1920s before is not copyrighted.
No.
What type of AI would you have if you only loaded it with non-copyright material from the 1920s before?
It'd be like a Django Unchained, sort of.
It would be it would be racist.
It would be horrible.
But the philosophy, all the philosophical books.
You're right. It would have theosophical ideas. It would have a lot of interesting things in it, but it'd also be off the scales.
It would not be nice towards humanity, I don't think.
Not one bit.
Yeah. Which sounds it's like, let's put the Bible in, let's put the Bhagavad Gita.
Hey, Uncle John D. Rockefeller, can you give me some kind advice?
Like, never. You can't expect
That's what it'd be. It'd be like the John D. Rockefeller of
yeah.
It wouldn't care about climate change.
No, it'd just be like, we need to pull more oil out of the ground. You're a human. You're my slave, right?
So another thing that with this mirror is insecurities and expectations. Those are two things that we look at.
Well, it can do two things.
Go ahead.
It can either help you be distracted. So you can tell this AI, you can create with it to distract you from your insecurities, or it can magnify them. But it certainly will not solve them for you.
But don't you think that perfectionism in AI is a desire for control and mastery that we all have as humans?
See, now this is where stuff's going to get ugly. The idea of perfection and mastery of something totally synthetic, that's going to be the problem.
Well, I think even worse is the fear of replacement, because it mirrors our doubts about our own self-worth and purpose. So if AI can take over, then what's my purpose or worth?
Correct. And let me ask you this. Say, for instance, Snapchat has filters.
Yes.
Apply artificial intelligence to it, and you could just film your whole self, and it just makes you look incredible.
Yeah.
Think about how that's going to go.
Well, that's the thing I saw in Japan. Like when you go on Japan, it's like everybody's so filtered out, it doesn't look like them.
Oh, I know that.
Online, all their social media profiles and everything in Japan is majority, 80% of it is a filter that is not them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so bad. They all look like anime characters.
Well, think how this is going to go for everybody. Every time you're going to be on a FaceTime call of an interaction, you're going to look airbrushed, perfect, and you're going to spend so much time on it. We're going to be taking a technology we created, and it's going to end up destroying our identity.
Yes.
There's going to be an identity crisis, more so than the one we already have, because we're laying into this artificial intelligence that we're like, this is God. Look how I can retune my face, my voice, everything about me. But then you absolutely forget who you are and what your values were. You're determining it through a totally synthetic system full of bias.
But because in the fake world, you're a better you.
You are the best you.
Yeah.
You are the most egoic you. You're the Herculean you. That's what it is. We have Adobe Final Cut Pro or whatever the fuck it's called. They have AI in it where if you don't like something in a scene or you want to change somebody's watch or add a watch, you can do that on the fly. Think about this. You'll never be able to actually trust anything you're seeing online anymore.
No, yeah. Nothing.
By having this technology we have to generate and create the deepfakes, the aggregate value of content and online interaction is going to decrease.
100%. But we've been operating at this level, like with the printing press or even with radio or TV. It's always being used like propaganda or the modern marketing development, from the late 1800s, early 1900s. All of this we have historical abuses of technology. My thing is, don't blame the AI, blame the humans.
Well, the AI is just not operating on its own.
No.
Every
time we fuck technology up.
It required an initial prompt. It's all this human interaction that goes in with it. And it's funny. Someone gives you the opportunity to play God for a moment.
Right.
Why do we go to the most basal, like non-evolutive actions with our stuff every time? Someone was like, you know what? I'm gonna go fucking solve world hunger. It's like you're like, you know what I mean? Not to be like.
So no, I want to create a drone that will have facial recognition that can kill 32 people in 32 seconds.
But they have that. They test.
They already have all.
They test it out here in White Sands.
Yeah, they have all that stuff.
It's ridiculous.
It's like we're gonna have drones flying around as police. And
why couldn't you have a drone that drops an old lady's meds off?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's her face. We recognize it's actually her, and she vetted this.
Yeah,
she gave permission. Here are your pills. It's like, no, I'm going to show up when they are 15 on this quadricopter.
Yeah, with this dog that's moving around. Which we amorphize that with the dog. Yeah, why would we make it a dog?
I have no idea.
Why not create something that could maneuver?
A ball?
Yeah, that would be...
Like a mesh-based ball with friction on it? Like
that would be... There's got to be ways. I mean, we put stuff with tracks to imitate tanks. It's like track systems are horrific. Like if you've ever dealt with them, they fall off all the time. So I want to close because you have another podcast to do, but I want to close with this. It's 8:44, so we have 10 minutes.
All right, perfect.
And I want to talk about AI as a mirror and catalyst for growth.
Okay, so a positive thing.
We're going to end on a positive note.
Okay.
So first of all, recognizing the project. When we know, we're smart enough to know that AI is a reflection of our own emotions, then we could better understand our biases and fears.
How do we, and this is a question for you, how do we get to the point of knowing our emotions, knowing our biases? How do we even become conscious of it when we're using the AI? Just because it's in front of you doesn't mean you see it, right?
Conscious of it is so... We went to a meeting the other day and it was just biased. And it's an AI meeting and it was biased. And it's like, and I was talking to one of your friends on this and it was like, if we have 226 countries that's going to be affected by AI, what Trump or Biden does or doesn't do, the Democrat or Republican Party, that's so small scale to looking at AI in a global format.
Right.
So to project an anti-Trump or a pro-Trump, projection onto that's a limited bias. And so you have to recognize those things. It's like, I lean towards this one political party. Yeah, I'm getting fired up. Why am I getting so fucking fired up with hate?
Right.
Because that's what it is. It's hatred.
Well, for you, you're a good example of this, not hate, but you understand artificial intelligence. You've used almost most of the tools.
I'm
blown away.
I check new tools out every day.
Yeah, you blow my mind when you do this. How are you keeping yourself in check? Because it gets easy using some of this stuff.
You can also ask it too, like straw man, steel man stuff. And it does a pretty good job about that. And you can ask it. Like the other day, I said, "How is this too capitalistic?" And then I asked it on the opposite side. I said, "This document has a lot of DEI language in it.
Yeah,
strip that language out and then give it to me from a rational perspective." So I think you need to take the time to make sure that the prompts are both sides of things. And this is great with leadership. Like when you need to make a decision, tell it, because you can talk to it, tell it what the decision you want to make or where you're at. Like we're having to make some decisions, with the startup and everything like that. And it's nice to be able to have a conversation with it and then tell me, well, why would this not work?
Sure.
Where am I? I do this all the time with it. It's like, where am I? I was having a conversation with you. Like for me, it was an argument to you. It wasn't an argument to you, but for me it was. But I used AI to go over it. Like I talked to it and telling it how I was feeling, like emotionally, because emotions are fucking nothing, Like, I mean, they're just a trigger, something that you need to work on personally.
That's right.
There's like self-awareness. So that's all they are. Emotions are just triggers. So I shared all my emotions to it, and I said, and then I took your profile that you did a study on that's like 9 pages long, and I put that in there, and I was like, And that's the cool part about AI. I put that in there and I was like, tell me where I'm wrong with my emotions. How can I better communicate with Alexander on this based off of his profile?
Mm-hmm.
So if it knew you, like if your AI bot and my AI bot, and I could have a conversation with your AI bot.
But they have to be trained on everything about
But
us.
I mean, if it knew you like perfectly, and then my AI bot could have a conversation with your AI bot and we could read it and be like, oh, okay, they're figuring this shit out. And then I don't even have to, this is the good part, because I could read it and be like, oh yeah, Alexander does come from this perspective.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh yeah, he is this way. And that's who he is as a human. So I think there's a lot of good with it, but like we would have free energy if we wouldn't have fucked up the atomic.
We just put it into bombs.
Yeah. So it's like, that's what I feel AI. I think we're at a crossroads. We have a choice to make, because it's not like they said, we have like a year or two before it becomes
We're out of control.
Yeah. So where there's almost like a formless sliver of consciousness.
What do you think the choice is
for humans
to make with the technology? Yeah. Like
it's not going anywhere and it's only going fast. It's scaling huge.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, and you would agree, I would like to tell people to be here's the generic answer.
Yeah,
be self-responsible, get some books, read about spirituality, understand that you're in a third density. What does that look like? But people aren't going to do that.
No, they're not.
So it's like people aren't going to sign up for Tardal just because we have, a 2-minute conversation with them.
No.
If they saw their neighbor got $250, now what happens?
Yeah, they would do something.
All the neighbors will sign up. And then that person's going to tell their family, go on there and get $250 real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So there has to be an egoic incentive.
That's where it starts.
So how do you do that?
I know you and I know the answer. We don't have to go into it because that's a different type of show.
Yeah, and
I just really hope that the technology we make can't ever be anything but a mirror of us, because we made it. And if we choose to put the technology before the human being, we're failing, because the human always has to come first. It is the creator of the technology.
But that's why we're here.
And I think my thought on the choice we have to make at this crossroads is, do we want to let our technology lead, or do we want to let the human being lead? That's what I see. And I've been pondering on this for a bit.
I know you wrote a paper on it, which we have online.
And
higherdensitybeing.com.
I am worried that the ease of letting the technology lead will take the limelight over the human being.
The ease, that's a great word.
Yeah.
Because we want easy.
And everybody wants easy. But if you put the human being first, that means we still have to continue to think.
But I think these conversations are hugely important that we're having now and others are having.
No one's talking about the crossroads you brought up, though. No one's saying, like, look, guys, we're at a point where this thing it's going to pop and it's going to go off on its own.
No, because like we heard the other night in the meeting, the AI meeting we went to, the one person's like, they're taking up tons of nuclear. Okay, that may be right. That may be wrong.
Yeah.
But you're not going to stop it. Who's going to stop AI? No one. Because if President Trump or President Biden turns around and says, which is Trump, tomorrow or whatever, says, we're going to take it easy on AI, China's going to be like, great.
Perfect. We're going to ramp it up.
Unfortunately, it's like the nuclear shit. It's like whoever gets AI and quantum computer, we got 10 years on quantum computing. We got AI now, then we got quantum computing. Quantum computing in 7-8 years is going to bust Bitcoin, they said.
Yeah. That's why I'm not buying it. I'm putting insurance on it.
There you go. In the meantime, what can we do as humans? And what you said is awesome. How do humans become self-responsible when it comes to technology? Are we just going to have to learn our way through it and hopefully we don't blow ourselves up?
No, you blow yourself up first.
Yeah.
What do you think they were doing with dynamite?
Yeah.
Like, holy shit.
We came this close to the nukes.
I know.
The alien stopped us a couple times, and the Russian guy stopped us.
Yeah, you remember him?
Yeah.
Good dude.
He saved humanity.
Nobody even talks about him.
No, we need to do a whole show on him.
Yeah. But Jason, I like all things for human beings, which is a shame. Our laws. Yeah, I do. They look really classy on you. Laws are written in blood.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. You shouldn't have to bleed to figure out something normal.
But is that our evolution though?
That's all we've done.
Yeah.
If that's how you choose to evolve, you can do it, but it's going to be a painful one.
It's not, like you said, we want the easy, but it's not the easy.
No, it's never the easy.
The easy is eating cake all day.
Yeah, and then what do you do?
Then you die.
You start cutting 45. Off limbs.
Yeah.
Right?
You have to.
You get the gout and then the crystallization and then
they're saying
depression
in the brain is coming from over sugar.
Yeah.
Our brain inflammation is causing so many issues.
Do you know what I'm trying to figure out? And I don't know this yet. And hopefully somebody wants to share.
Put it in the comments, guys.
How do you get microplastics out of the body?
Ooh,
I don't know.
I think we're loaded with it.
Dude,
Our taints are getting smaller because of microplastics. Have you read about
Shut
that?
the fuck up.
Men's taints used to be
Mine's
this
like
big.
20 inches
They've
long.
been measuring men. They've been measuring men's taints.
Ooh, what kind of a fucking weirdo?
I watched a whole
Doesn't
show
go
on
with a
this.
ruler.
I watched a whole podcast.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty
They've been measuring,
nice.
and they
nice
find out
gauge.
that testosterone levels lower because of microplastics, and it's making our taint smaller.
Well, how do I increase the taint size?
We got to figure that out. I'll send you the lady. There's a PhD.
What do they have
lady.
those stretching machines in
That's
Pilates?
Yeah, we need that.
Yeah, I need that.
We
but,
need to stretch the fuck
but the
out.
taint version.
I need to get a taint stretcher.
I just need microplastics flying out of it.
How do you get them out of you?
I don't know.
There's a credit card size, right, that we eat or something, they said. And then every month we eat a credit card size worth of microplastics.
That's fucking disgusting.
I know. Yeah.
You're joking, right?
No, we got to look it up. I'm almost positive. It's
That
a week or a
horrifies
month.
me.
It's a week or a month.
That horrifies me more than
plastic
AI.
bottled water is the worst, which we don't have.
I don't drink that. Yeah. That horrifies me more than AI.
I am out on plastic bottled water, guys. One reason is they keep them in these warehouses.
Yeah,
They get to 100 degrees.
that's what you
And then
want.
you're sitting water in plastic.
That's why I got this. Shout out to Yeti. Why don't they sponsor the show? I don't know. I'm always sipping their gear on here.
Yeah, Zeros, Yeti, fucking Apple.
Anything else? Any other products?
Rode. We got Rode. We love their products.
Yeah, Rode. This is
They have the shiz.
they have. You want to know something? These guys have single-handedly had a greater impact on history
On
than
podcasts, yeah.
on
Especially-
on anybody else.
Yeah. All this, whether you hate it or not, the elections came from podcasting.
Yeah,
I mean, they was like, he went on all the podcasts. Whether you hate him or not, he went on all the podcasts, not the 3-minute soundbite stuff that no one watches anymore, but great grandpa.
no, people want long form.
Yeah, he
They
went
want
on.
value.
He did all that, and his vice president did all that too. And people were like, "Oh, I can relate to them."
Beware the AI generated audio podcasts
Yeah, I think
because they're coming. Yeah, I know.
on Tartle.
I know.
It was great. Tartle.co.
Yeah. Guys, thanks for joining us on Higher Density Living and learning about how humans are playing God with artificial intelligence. And we'll be back with you guys soon.